divorced now or something?
Oh,
too?
yeah. Yeah, it's public. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Well, she's taking photos with rappers and yeah, putting it on Instagram.
No.
Yeah, you know how they do it? They try to steal your soul.
Jesus.
Put a fucking knife right in your spirit.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, man, there's hell has no fury like a woman scorned. It's a...
Well, hopefully that helps him think he made the right call then, I guess. You know?
Yes. And you're his wife. So you're like, oh, look at me. I'm married to the best alive. And then he doesn't want to be with you anymore. Like, oh, really? Well, I'm going to take you down. And women, that's what they love, is reputation destruction. That's what they really are experts in when shit goes sideways. I didn't know that he met her in Miami. I don't know if that's even true, because he lives in
Or if
Spain.
it even is like relevant at all, but it's just weird timing.
I would imagine it's relevant. Meeting a woman in Miami.
Like, I mean, the factors certainly support that it's like a more likely chance that she's not the person she represented herself as, potentially. But
Well, not just that. It's the culture of Miami.
Tonight, we step into the biggest controversy Ilia Topuria has faced since becoming champion, because Joe Rogan has just dropped comments that lit the MMA world on fire. And shockingly, those comments now connect directly to a lawsuit that could change everything. Ilia is already dealing with a confusing period. He steps away from his early 2026 fight plans, tells fans he is experiencing a difficult moment, and his followers notice photos disappearing from his and Georgina's Instagram accounts. People whisper, speculate, create theories, but nothing really catches fire until Joe Rogan and Derek from More Plates, More Dates casually drift into the topic on the most famous podcast on the planet.
I don't know, but that's another guy that has the touch of death. There's guys that just have freaky power.
hopefully he doesn't let his personal derail whatever is happening.
I know.
Like, you're in your late 20s and it's like not the time, bro.
I know. It's crazy. I don't know what happened.
Dude,
I don't know what happened with the wife.
Derek is the one who brings the Miami clip back to life. He sits across from Rogan and admits he's concerned. He talks about how the timing feels strange. He mentions Ilia's post about going through a difficult moment and connects it to the Nelk moment where one of the boys jokes, "Who says you can't meet your wife in Miami?" Ilia, normally calm and playful, suddenly freezes. His expression changes. His smile vanishes. That tiny mood shift becomes the new center of online obsession.
I don't know if it's a coincidence, but I mean, you can't. I'm sure the internet has their speculation, but the timing is very odd with like one of these interviews he did where somebody was almost seemed to plant in his head that like if you meet a wife in Miami, that she's probably like not a good
Is that where he met her?
I think so, yeah. And it was like,
But he lives in Spain.
and somebody, I forget who it was, but somebody like jokingly said, "Oh, you met, like, it looks like you can meet quality women in Miami. Crazy. Like, you would have never thought." And then he was like visibly shook. He was like, "What do you mean by that?"
Oh, no.
And the guy was like, "Did I just offend you and you're gonna up, or like what is happening right now?"
On the podcast, Derek brings this up and Rogan reacts with pure confusion. Rogan openly says he has no idea what is going on with Ilia's marriage. When Derek explains the Miami moment, Rogan even jokes that Miami should require its own passport because of the lifestyle there. But the tone isn't mocking. It's the tone of someone trying to understand something that doesn't fully make sense yet.
And he was just seemed to like almost internalize that. Is there a reason I shouldn't trust Miami women and I haven't considered it? And then it's just like, you can't help but think with the timing, the wheels are turning.
Oh, God. I didn't know that he met her in Miami. I don't know if that's even true, because he lives in
Or
Spain.
if it even is like relevant at all, but it's just weird timing.
I would imagine it's relevant. Meeting a woman in Miami.
Like, I mean, the factors certainly support that it's like a more likely chance that she's not the person she represented herself as, potentially. But
Well, not just that. It's the culture of Miami. I always say that if you want to starve to death, open up a bookstore in Miami. It's like people are just partiers. It's like you should have a passport to go to Miami. It's barely America.
Yeah.
It's fun.
That confusion is exactly what gives this rumor fresh life. The biggest voice in MMA now acknowledges it, even if unintentionally. And suddenly, a situation Ilia tries to keep private becomes a global talking point.
It doesn't really lend itself to like the kind of like sturdy stay-at-home mom support for a world champion.
And that just is unfortunate for any misalignment of your personal life at this time of your career. Somebody's got to get him.
Bad woman.
He's got to get
her
his
life.
boys in his corner, just like get his mind, dialed.
He has children with this lady too, so it's like, oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's like,
and
that's what it is, regardless of what he's saying, when he's like, I gotta get my personal life in order and the timing of everything. And I think there's actually, is it publicly media about there's like a divorce now or something?
Oh,
too?
yeah,
Oh,
it's public, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Well, she's taking photos with rappers and shit.
At the same time, Ilia announces he won't fight in the first quarter of 2026. He says he wants to focus on his 2 children and handle a challenging personal moment. Fans connect the dots instantly. They see the Instagram photos gone. They hear Rogan repeat a theory. They hear Derek explain the Miami moment. And now it feels like everyone is trying to read Ilia's mind.
He's been calling out Ilia. Who would win that fight, you reckon?
Oh, I think there's a reason that Ilia doesn't really want to get in the octagon with him. I think Arman's a problem, and it's everyone in the division is kind of ducking him at the moment. Ilia's taking some time off. And then the other 2 don't want to fight him. Paddy and Gagey, they both don't want to fight Arman, so now they're fighting each other. So he's kind of just left in the lurch.
Then an even bigger twist arrives. Ilia and Georgina are scheduled to go to court in March next year to decide custody of their own 2 children. It's not confirmed as a divorce, but the legal step is enough for fans to assume the worst. Every detail starts circulating again, and every podcast clip gets reposted with dramatic captions. While Rogan's comments push the rumor into mainstream attention, Sean O'Malley finds himself unable to escape questions either. As he prepares for UFC 324, he has revealed what he thinks of Ilia's situation. Instead of brushing it off or throwing fuel onto the fire, O'Malley takes a grounded approach. He doesn't pretend he knows what's happening. He doesn't guess. He just acknowledges the human side.
Going through a divorce, his wife supposedly trying to take 50%. God, dude, I feel so. That's, and it's all public, which makes it even just worse.
I've seen a lot of shit.
I've been through some shit where it was just like I didn't have to do. It wasn't on the public. Got to the other side, everything's good. But when you're going through that type of shit, you definitely don't want to be in fight camp.
Sean says it must be brutal for Ilia if he's going through real family trouble. He says having things unfold publicly is even worse. He explains that nobody wants to prepare for a fight while dealing with issues at home, especially when children are involved. His tone isn't flashy or dramatic. It's calm, almost sympathetic.
Is that why he pulled out, or?
That's why I didn't book a fight. He said he's going through his personal. It's all it's all public, and I guess he was supposedly messaging girls.
O'Malley also weighed in on the wave of online chatter surrounding Ilia, especially the accusations claiming he had been sending messages to other women during this entire situation. He even jokes about how simple phrases get blown out of context online, but he makes his message clear. He hopes Ilia gets things sorted out. He wants him back in the cage. He even talks about future matchups he'd enjoy watching, but he also draws a line. He doesn't want someone else's chaos entering his training camp. Not when UFC 324 is so close and his own plate is full.
You can't say how's it going.
I know, right?
Dude, no. You can't say
Hope all is well.
Hope you're doing good.
Hope you're doing well.
Hope you're doing well. Nice. Like, you can't be nice to the other species when you're married. I just don't understand.
I thought like it was him. Dude, there was a funny ass TikTok about they put you in the drama. They said that his girl was messaging you.
Oh god.
I should have sent you the TikTok.
Absolutely.
It was
true. Yeah, no, that sucks. So I do genuinely feel bad for him, and yeah, I mean, all that shit. Oh, you got 2 kids. It's like when you add kids to the mix, that's what makes it. That's really what makes it just so hard to deal with. It's unfortunate for him.
While all this happens, another storyline rises in the background. Khamzat Chimaev shaping his future with bold confidence. Chimaev reveals his plan for the next chapter of his career. He wants one more fight at middleweight, defend the title, and then set his sights on Alex Pereira at light heavyweight. His ambition doesn't stop there. He talks about teaming up with John Jones, someone he considers a legend, someone he sees as an influence and inspiration.
Your mindset like moving forward in the next year?
Actually, for me, not big important I fight anyone. Like, I'm gonna fight anyone. So just important thing, they pay good. Alex they're gonna pay good for Alex, like good pay-per-views. Maybe they pay more money for that. That's why I'm pushing for that. But in my weight class, whoever.
What about
Imamo, there is Imamo, there is Strickland, there is who is more in the top, fluffy. Hernandez, the whoever. Okay. All of them I see like big check. good money.
He explains that he and John Jones already talk about training together. Jones also makes friendly gestures when they meet in Chechnya, wrestling and joking around. Chimaev wants to come to the United States and learn from him. Jones himself has teased moving into Pereira territory. With the UFC White House card on the horizon, both men seem to be orbiting the same storyline.
Jones is a legend. I hope so one day I can train with him. We'll speak about that. Maybe I come to US and to do some training with him.
Meanwhile, Francis Ngannou steps back into the spotlight in a different kind of drama, this time connected to comments made by Dana White earlier this year. White previously claims Ngannou once pushed him and grabbed his shirt during a disagreement at the UFC office. He also said a similar moment happens with Hunter Campbell.
Well, Francis, you didn't get it because this, that, and he's in my office and he's arguing with me. And I'm like, yeah, this guy got this guy got that, and this is why. So the conversation's over, I'm starting to leave, and he grabs me by my shirt.
Fuck.
And like pushes me back in my office. And I said, dude, get your fucking hands off me.
Those were the words that came out of you when Francis Ngannou grabbed you by the shirt?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I would have been like, I hated this shirt. It's too tight.
Well, it's like
snuggle me this shirt.
But it's no, I could see in this guy's face and in his eyes and in the way he's acting.
Fans treat this like a heated confrontation story, but Ngannou addresses it in his own calm, almost tired way. He doesn't flat out deny the incident, but he does challenge the idea. He wonders if there's any video proof, reminding everyone that UFC headquarters has cameras everywhere. He says he's tired of having to defend himself every time someone says something about him. He implies that if Dana wants to be at peace with his version of events, then he can be, but Ngannou isn't letting it become a constant back and forth.
Can I ask you point blank, did you ever put your hands on him?
On Dana White?
Yeah.
Well, then he must be the only person that I ever put my hand on.
He said you did it with him and Hunter Campbell, where you grabbed his collar.
In his office, that's what he said, right?
Correct.
Well, I'm sure he has a lot of camera there.
You would invite him to, hey, show the proof?
I'm not inviting him to do anything. I'm not in court. I really saw that and screw and move. I wasn't even actually be thinking that you're gonna ask me that. If Dana say this, if he's in peace with, it's okay.
Dana White later clarifies the situation, trying to soften the idea that it was some aggressive moment. He says Ngannou wasn't threatening anyone, but that he was frustrated, asking for the $50,000 bonus White wouldn't give him. White explains that Ngannou would often spend long hours at UFC HQ, and at one point during a disagreement, Ngannou put his hand on White's chest and told him they weren't done talking.
Francis Ngannou came in here and threatened us, or did anything like that. But as men, everybody who is a man knows there's these situations with the, we're in there and he's telling me that I deserve the $50,000. I want the $50,000. I said, I get it. This guy fought whoever the fight was on the card, we had determined that they were going to get the $50,000. And I'm in there with them for however long we're talking, and I'm like, I'm done. And I had another meeting. And this guy just used to wander around UFC headquarters like this was his house. This guy literally spent the whole day here. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, So I started to walk out and he put his hand on my chest. He says, we're not done talking yet.
White says that's when he responded, we're done talking, and left. He wants people to know it wasn't a huge physical altercation. It was just a heated human moment. He also repeats something he has said many times. The UFC is in the fight business and messy moments happen.
And I said, oh, we're fucking done talking. It's not like, Francis Ngannou came in here and was physically, but that's what went down. And I tell you guys all the time, we're in the fight business. Shit happens, and you don't have enough fucking time in your life for me to tell you all the stories that have happened behind the scenes and what goes on around here. And this is why I don't like telling them, And I truly believe that a lot of shit is man shit. It's man to man. We had this shit with Francis, and he was. When I did Schultz's podcast, you know, he was pushing me on some stuff, so I gave him that one.
Things become even more interesting when Ngannou talks about the possibility of returning to the UFC. He reveals his PFL contract ends in time for the UFC White House event, meaning he technically becomes available. He said, "I'm getting very close on the PFL contract ending. They have to give me a fight." He doesn't guarantee anything, but he says there is a chance. He mentions wanting to fight John Jones or even Deontay Wilder in 2026. He doesn't act desperate or eager, just realistic. He added, "There's a chance, anything can happen. I don't have hand on it, so I'm not the decision maker. When Deontay is over, maybe we'll see." Meanwhile, Dana White reacts with his own raw honesty. He says nothing makes him happier than sending Ngannou to the PFL. He claims they let fighters go for a reason and that he doesn't want to work with people he dislikes or doesn't trust. He says any company that signs them should feel nervous. He isn't trying to sugarcoat anything. He wants the door shut.
I don't know how I can make it any more clear.
I do wonder how PFL feel about him going out and saying that his contract's nearly done.
There was nothing that made me happier than throwing that guy over to the PFL.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what, if we let guys go, feel bad for the fucking company that gets them. We let them go for a reason.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't have to let anybody go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to be in business with guys that I don't like and that I don't think are good guys.
All these storylines collide with one more emerging headline. Demetrius Johnson and Sean O'Malley talking about a rematch between Petr Yan and O'Malley for the UFC White House card. In a recent interview, Johnson says the White House event needs a fight that feels important and meaningful, and he believes the Yan versus O'Malley rivalry has unfinished business. Sean agrees. He says it's the perfect stage and the perfect moment to settle things cleanly, especially now that the bantamweight division has multiple narratives forming at the same time.
Dude, if they make that fight, I'm not mad. That's a sweet fight. I just think I go out there and finish Song. It's me and Peter at the White House. I don't understand what fight could be bigger. Umar and Peter, I think, is a big fight. I think it's a huge fight, but I don't think it's bigger than me versus Peter rematch for the belt at the White House. I don't think there's a bigger fight to make in the bantamweight division.
And with everything unfolding at once, the fight world is more unpredictable than ever. From Ilia Topuria's personal drama to Rogan's spark, O'Malley's push for a rematch, Chimaev's ambitions, and Ngannou's possible return, every storyline crosses into the next, and the next few months are shaping up to be explosive. If you want to stay on top of every shock, twist, and blockbuster matchup, Boxism is your go-to. Subscribe, like, and turn on notifications so you never miss the stories that actually matter. What do you think will happen next in these crazy MMA storylines? Drop your predictions in the comments below. We want to hear from you.